Hey! So for a while now, I've had these Halloween decorations collecting dust in my bits box. So I figured today was a nice day to make something chaosy or sort of demonic, something cool to put in my D&D games or put on my fantasy tables. I didn't really have a plan on what I wanted to make or what my end goal was, but that's okay. I find that sort of building really fun and relaxing, sort of just going with the flow and making it up as you go along. In the early stages of the build, all I'm really thinking about is scale. And that's because big things like these bones that aren't really meant for a 28mm world, by default, typically look a bit dumb. So what I'm trying to do is make good design decisions to sort of bring things back into scale by cutting things up, or adding texture, or creating detail in the most impactful places. There were lots of points while I was cutting up this skull that I was hesitant to commit to a cut. I'd think, should I really cut out the eyes? Should I really cut out the nose? What if it doesn't look good? I've only got one skull, I can't really go back. But I think those moments are where you know you're going in the right direction, because cool stuff comes from bold choices. I added horns because horns have that instant cool factor, and they're really easy to make. I really like the asymmetry of one full horn and one broken one. I think it adds a cool narrative, like what could have broken the horn of a monster that big? The best thing I think I added, and it's a small thing, is the nose. Just extending it a little bit outwards implies a whole area of detail that wasn't on the original sculpt. The goal isn't to make something photorealistic, it's to add just enough detail to make the viewer suspend their disbelief that this thing could exist in the same universe as the models that surround it. I'm fixing the bones to the base with hot glue and construction adhesive. Typically, I try to avoid hot glue as much as I can, because the bond it creates can be a little bit fickle long term. To counter that, the construction adhesive I'm using will add permanent, heat-resistant strength that will cover up any hot glue blobs or wisps as well. Using a bit of torn-up foam, I also stippled on some of the construction adhesive around the place to give a really subtle but nice texture that will make the bones look a bit more dried up and give something for the paint to catch. The paint scheme I'm using is really just a white base coat and brown and yellow oil paints to age things up a bit, and a little bit of green in some of the textured places because green is good. I also added some ruins around the place because it makes for a nice story. Maybe the ruins are part of a summoning, or this is a burial site for a fallen god. Maybe the ruins seal away an ancient demon. Whatever the ruins are, they add scale, and they also connect the terrain with the models that occupy this space as well. There was lots of ways I wanted to base this, maybe red like Mars or sandy like the desert, but I wanted to use this in my D&D and Warhammer fantasy games, so I figured a classic green and lots of moss would be safe. And that's it. Thanks for watching me make this cool thing. It was lots of fun. Check out miscast.co for cool things, and I'll see you in a bit. I promise. Making videos has been really fun. So keep watching and I'll keep making them, and share them with people because that makes me feel good. Well, you don't have to. You could also support me on Patreon if you wanted as well, that's an option. And okay, I'll see you next time for real.